You're listening to the Beercraft Beer and Brewing Podcast. Tune in every Wednesday night at 6:30 for a dose of beer and brewing banter with your hosts, Ben Holm and Andrew Ziegler.
A 24-pack of wit and wisdom in the Pacific Northwest, because it's always beer 30 on
The Beercraft. Welcome back to the Beercraft, the podcast where brewing knowledge and good laughs are always on tap. I'm Ben, and I'm ready to explore the another side of brewing that's a little lighter and just as refreshing.
And I'm Andrew. This week we're talking about brewing beyond the buzz, non-alcoholic beers, low ABV beers, and even how to craft your own seltzers at home.
From removing the alcohol without sacrificing flavor to creating a 0.5% beer that still packs a punch, we'll show you how to make the drinks that fit every occasion.
So grab a cold one, alcohol optional, and let's brew something refreshing.
In the craft beer system, the people are served by two but equally important groups: the brewers who make the beer and the bartenders who serve the pints. These are their stories, presented by Northwest Brewers Supply. You're handed a dusty bottle by a brewer with a tale as unique as the brew it holds. You never knew the challenges one man could face packaging his creation on a tailgate of a well-used Mazda pickup. Then you realize what awaits you at the bottom of the bottle is the essence of a man's journey. All started at Northwest Brewers Supply.
Welcome back. It's Wednesday night on the Beercraft.
All right.
Andrew, how are you today, sir?
Yeah, doing good again. Another beautiful Wednesday.
Oh, and it's my my new favorite day of the week.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, good to see you again, sir.
You drink some beer tonight?
We're gonna get close on the beer. Good news is we can drink as much as we want.
That's right. That's
There's
what I was saying.
nothing to stop us.
Beer 30 lasts all session.
Yeah, we are cracking open non-alcoholic beers. Why? Why would you do that? Sounds like a dirty word, especially from a brew shop owner.
Hey, once in a while.
There's an occasion. There's a right time for everything.
That's right.
And not every day.
You know, I heard something today.
What'd you hear today?
It's called zebra striped drinking.
Okay.
That's where you have a drink, and then you have a non-alcoholic drink, and then you have a drink, and then you have a non-alcoholic drink. So you're drinking something good, non-alcoholic between your beers or drinks.
Well, I've kind of done that at festivals, try to drink some water, especially in the summertime. You know, drink a beer, drink some water,
Right.
stay hydrated, because it's a marathon, not a race.
And with this, now we can go with an NA beer. There are so many good NA beers out there.
Oh, they've gotten so much better. Holy
They have,
crap.
I know. So you can have one of those, feel comfortable, and keep drinking.
God, I remember when O'Doul's came out.
Oh my goodness.
What the hell was that?
It was like flavored water or something.
Wasn't even that. I mean, flavored water tastes good. This was the opposite. It was on the other end of the spectrum, left of bullshit and manure. Yeah, you found
some gross water.
You know, O'Doul's. We'll take sponsorship dollars, but damn.
So, I got a good one. When I was gonna think of my name for my brewery in Mexico, I was thinking, okay, I got to name this Bad Water, right? So I came up with this name. I was like, okay, Awamala. Well, that's already a brewery in Ensenada.
It was 12 minutes away.
Yep.
I was like, oh, great minds think alike. Yeah, it's kind of a thing. All the good names are taken.
Yeah, Bad Water.
That'd been great, but you weren't at all worried that it was going to impact your fan base out there?
No.
Like Bad Water, we got to love that.
Hey, Awamala, I think they did pretty good.
What was the name of your brewery again?
Fluid Brewing.
Going with the water thing.
Yep.
That's right. We're talking about non-alcoholic beers, and that's going to bring us right up to the most important segment of the show. It's beer 30 right here on the hot break, and I've got a pile of things going on here. Andrew, I'm going to let you pick the first offering.
Okay. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with the lightest at first, because I know that I see you brought fresh squeezed.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be on the higher IBU side.
Yep.
So I need to start small. I might even want to start with a seltzer.
I think we should save the seltzer. We're gonna whole talk.
Okay.
We're gonna talk about seltzers.
Let's do that because we're drinking the entire
So
time.
if you're, this is high IBU. This one's ridiculous.
Okay.
So that's gonna
yours.
the
Patagonia.
Patagonia.
And it's by Deschutes as well.
Like that looks like the Patagonia logo, like the outerwear brand Patagonia.
Yep,
Okay.
it probably is.
Non-alcoholic.
Because it's Patagonia Provisions by Deschutes.
I see. Non-alcoholic Kernza Golden Brew, bright, crisp, and wildly drinkable. I'm kind of excited about this. I was a little nervous. I went with one I'd actually tried before, with the fresh squeezed. I was, just harkening back to so many bad, O'Doul's experiences. I was a little nervous. So let's crack this bad boy open.
This is organic certified rye, organic hops, barley and Kernza, a soil-saving, carbon-capturing perennial grain.
I have heard of that grain. That's right. Patagonia did a thing a couple years ago. They had a whole big initiative with Deschutes, I guess.
Yeah.
For this World Food Day or something like that. All right, we got that's a nice presentation. That looks like beer. I'm gonna snap a picture.
Looks like
I find my phone.
Nice golden.
Yeah.
Nice golden
Good
ale.
clarity.
Very good clarity. I mean, not like there's a lot of malt and proteins in this.
Smile pretty. Okay.
All right.
Let's do the old smell test here. Here's the non-audio version.
It's a small head, but I didn't pour it vigorously.
Some head's better than no head. Smells good. Smells beerific.
Smells beery. Tastes good. I can definitely miss the alcohol, but that's okay.
But I'm not missing it. I'm not missing it completely. There's a definite malt backbone.
I got a toastiness out of it.
Yeah, like a little bready, biscuity kind of Victory or biscuit or something like that.
So it's holding to style.
Yeah, very very light body. I'd kind of
Yeah,
that's okay. The hop profile's nice. Like there's a nice crispness to the hopping. Does it say what they used? Deschutes, call me at the studio 1-800. No, I'm just kidding.
Organic.
We don't have 1-800 number.
Yeah, organic.
Organic hops. I've seen those.
All it says is organic. Yeah. But a good drinking beer.
I'll drink the hell out of that one.
Right.
We'll see how it goes after 3 or 4 of them.
Right. See where it holds up.
Yeah, some of them I've had that they kind of leave this kind of coating to your mouth.
Yeah.
Like
what do
a
you
little
think
bit.
that could be?
I don't know.
I mean, because there's not any other ingredients really that we're using, so it's all beer ingredients,
Right.
which is less of the sugars.
Maybe in that production, and I don't know how these guys are taking the alcohol out.
I wonder if the hops have a different reaction without the alcohol
Through the post-processing. And that could be.
Yeah, just the flavor, maybe. Maybe the alcohol thins out that hop oil.
Oh.
Maybe. And
it's got a
coats your
little
mouth.
bit of it,
I don't
but
know.
it's not. Yeah, it's not bad.
That's good.
It's it would fill in for a beer at church.
Well, last year.
Still get the sound effects, so that's good.
Yeah. This year, what am I talking about? In January, I did a dry January. And I want to believe I made it all the way through. But anyways, so I would go out to the bars and I would order a Patagonia or a Athletic.
I've heard good things about
Athletics. Yeah.
Stuff.
Another good one I've had was a Heineken. And I got a cool, funny little story. So this was last January. I'm in my favorite bar, Jeans, up down the street here. And they have all glass doors with all the beers on, shelves behind there. So you can see the beers. And and I was looking at the Heineken, and I can tell it was the Heineken Zero. And so I was feeling cool, and I didn't really want to say, "Oh, give me the NA beer." So I just said, "Hey, give me a Heineken." And she goes in and she opens the door, and the real Heineken is behind the metal piece of the door. And she grabs it, opens it, and I was like, she's like, "What?" I'm like, "I didn't see that. I was trying to be cool and order the Heineken because I thought the only Heineken you had was NA, and without having to say NA beer."
Didn't want to say it out loud.
Right. She laughs at me. She's like, "Oh no, it's no big deal." She
drank it, I'm sure.
Probably. That's funny.
There's certain things you when ordering a beer you probably don't want to say. Have you seen some of those glitter beers?
Yes. Somebody did it. The purple. I think a Scrappy Punk Brewery. They used to be out of Snohomish.
Oh yeah.
They were open for a few years, and he's shut down. He's a good friend of mine.
Did they put glitter?
Yeah,
Oh man,
yeah.
see that's right up my butt. No loop. That's never
You don't
gonna
like it?
happen. No,
You don't like it?
I'm phobic about glitter. I just know that I'm gonna get it in my eye and it's gonna lacerate my cornea and it's a bad day. So I get really uncomfortable around glitter.
Wow.
My child exploits that on a nearly daily basis.
Your dad?
Like, yeah, I want to fuck with dad. Give him some glitter. Look what I made. And then breathes all over me with his glitter bomb. A good friend of mine who will remain nameless found a glitter beer, and I can't remember who it was from, but he found it on the market. He's like, I'm going to try that one.
Was it the purple one?
No, it was like the orange can.
Okay.
I can't remember who made it. Might have been like Silver City or something.
Okay.
And he walked out of the convenience store with that, like, looking both ways, trying not to be spotted. And he runs into Mike Armstrong of Farmstrong Brewing, who saw the can and was like,
"Yeah,
wow, you're big time now, man." Like, just
Crushed
red
him.
face. Sorry,
no.
bro.
Oh no."
Oh yeah, like it's one of those, like, you just like that. You don't want to say it out loud. It sounds like a dirty word.
Right? Can I get this put in a paper sack, please? Oh,
Yeah, I don't want to get.
We need a
I don't
cough
want to
button.
get. We do need a cough button, a big one too. Damn winner. Yeah, but it's not a dirty word. I mean, this beer, I'm drinking this. I would happily consume this when I can't when I can't drink or.
Yep.
That's doing all the things
This
for
is
me.
great. This is
Yeah, I'm taking
great.
another healthy dose of that one.
And the Kerns is thrown in. The Kerns is thrown in for sustainability. Yeah.
Yeah, soil saving.
Yeah.
Do some, some sort of perennial grain that rebuilds soil structure and improves water retention. I'm sure on the acreage.
Wow.
Pretty cool project from what I remember reading about it when it first released. I was like, that's pretty cool. I'm glad it doesn't taste like sorghum. You ever had those the gluten-free sorghum beers?
I have. I couldn't.
We'll do a show, I'm sure,
it was
on
probably
gluten-free brewing.
a sip or two, so I can't
Yeah.
remember my identification on it.
Kind of a weird flavor.
Yeah.
Yeah, not beerific. Not like this.
Not like this. This is great.
Let's drink a lot of this.
Yep. 0.5% alcohol. Yeah.
So I got another
Very
one.
well done.
We got another one today.
right,
We're gonna triple fist it. Get through the box.
Oh, we can slam these beers
Yeah, we
too.
can. Oh, we should do that. We've never chugged on air.
Chugged on air.
fix
Bottoms
that.
up.
Prost. Just let it slide down your throat hole. All right, round two. Because it's non-alcoholic, we're drinking quickly tonight, folks.
Yeah. I've got. I mean, off that when I slam that, I get that hop. I get a little of that hop on my.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of like
a.
it was kind of like a Pilsner, American light lager kind of profile to it.
Yep. Yep.
Next up, we've got the Deschutes Fresh Squeezed Non-Alcoholic Offering. Now we're into IPA categories.
And the fresh squeezed, it's a good.
Oh, that
beer.
Fresh Squeezed was. Do you remember when that came out? That was like sticking. Opening up a can of that was like sticking your head in a bag of oranges.
Mm-hmm.
God, it was good. Really good. So we got a little orange kind of hue to that. We'll get another.
A little gold, bronzy. Bronze orange.
Yeah.
Really
Pretty.
Definitely smell some hops in this one.
Smells like the fresh squeezed experience.
I wonder if they dry hop it.
Well, I did on mine.
Okay.
Yeah. It improved it.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, that's not bad.
Not bad.
It's definitely hop forward. It's got a nice, bitterness. What are they saying
It's
about
not as
IBU?
bitter as I thought it would be.
Didn't even tell us that. In the low light of the studio, we peruse the can. Oh yeah, it's a pale blue label with white lettering, so I can't read it.
What are we looking for?
I was just seeing if they gave us any IBU kind of
Loaded with juicy hops.
juicy hops. Yeah, well, fresh squeeze, it would be appropriate to do so. I remember it would have. I remember the original. I think it was Citra, Amarillo, and Simcoe was the original lineup.
Yeah, for the
And one of my all-time favorite hop combinations. I think these days I would bitter with like a Centennial and use those as late, Citra, Amarillo, and Simcoe as a late addition. Fantastic stuff.
right.
Kind of.
Those are always good.
Yeah, classics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it says here it's got the tropical. 2 out of 5 on tropical. 4 out of 5 on citrus. And it's 4 out of 5 on crispness.
That's doing all the hoppy beer things I need it to do. You know what? I don't know about like the carbs or calories or anything like that.
I like it. The after, it's got an aftertaste of the hops.
Definitely, the kind of the bitterness finishes
Sticks around.
really late.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
But it doesn't start bitter. It's drinkable. In my opinion, I think I would want a little more of a malt backbone to this. To this.
The excellent flavor carrying device.
Yeah, I mean it's got that hop profile, but the malted profile is a little bit missing. Like the Patagonia that we drank had a little bit of that bready backbone.
Yeah, definitely, and it was way more balanced
Yeah.
experience with the Kernza.
So I feel I'm missing something.
Yeah.
And that could just be due to the hops. If you're gonna not have as much grain
Sure.
in your recipe and you're gonna have more hops, it's gonna take away from the grain flavor.
And I've never done the dry January or anything like that. It makes me wonder, like, drinking a 0.5% beer, you're still getting alcohol if you're health conscious and trying to avoid alcohol because of systemic what alcohol does to the body. I don't know that necessarily drinking a bunch of non-alcoholic beer is gonna qualify.
Right. There might be just enough alcohol to affect you.
Right. It's going to do something. Your liver still has to process it, which is why it's still illegal to buy if you're a minor. And that's probably good. That's probably good. I have extended, extended experience in not drinking. I've taken a year off of drinking for, weight loss purposes. And I turned into a lightweight really quickly. Yeah. No, I became a 2-beer drunk. It was kind of a letdown.
Cheap.
Yeah, cheap date. Yeah. Smell the stuff and get wasted. Well, that I think is going to be a wrap for Beer 30 today. But we're going to continue enjoying these beverages. We got a couple more things we're going to taste tonight.
Yeah,
we got 2 more offerings as we get going. So we're gonna wet our whistles.
Oh yeah.
And we'll be back in a moment, folks. Stick around.
Enjoy it. Thank you for joining us on
Beer 30.
In the craft beer system, the people are served by 2 but equally important groups: the brewers who make the beer and the bartenders who serve the pints. These are their stories, presented by Northwest Brewers Supply. You're handed a dusty bottle by a brewer with a tale as unique as the brew it holds. You never knew the challenges one man could face packaging his creation on a tailgate of a well-used Mazda pickup. Then you realize what awaits you at the bottom of the bottle is the essence of a man's journey. All started at Northwest Brewers Supply.
Welcome back, folks. So we are deep diving today into non-alcoholic beer. And, you know, I mentioned it's not a dirty word. I mean, there are going to be a host of applications for non-alcoholic beer. You know, you can't drink in church. You know, they get pissed off about that. You know, road tripping, you can't sit there and guzzle a bunch of, can't drink and drive. You know, there's, and maybe you just don't want to drink alcohol every day. You probably shouldn't be drinking alcohol every day. I mean, I work at a beer store. And
yeah, how do you deal with that?
These days I do a lot better. 8 years ago, I would drink every day at the shop, go home and drink every day. And I did a little mental inventory. And I'm like, man, that's like a 6-pack a day that I was consuming. And, you know, however, that's so many extra calories I didn't need.
Yep.
I mean, I think I probably gained 20 pounds my first year at the shop. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was
Beer will put it on you.
Beer will do it.
Yep.
You know, so there's a host of reasons.
Now, what about the caloric intake or your calories in one of these NA beers?
And that I didn't find it because beer or beer related products, they're not required to put that stuff on the label. You know, you notice there's no nutritional labeling on beer, so it's exempt from, you know, your standard USDA labeling requirements.
Right.
So they don't have to talk about those
Depends
things.
on the ABV. It's going to be your 80 to 100
carbs,
calorie.
Yeah. They're taking out a bunch of the
alcohol.
alcohol sugars, but you're still going to have unfermented malt sugars. So those are going to be, you know, carbohydrates. You're still going to have those. You know, it's funny. The one of the most popular beers on the planet is Michelob Ultra.
Yeah.
The 90 calorie.
Yep, 90,
beer.
95 or something.
I don't like them.
You don't like them?
I don't know. They're like water and less tasty than water in my opinion.
Less tasty than water.
But I figured, you know, we're a brewing show, so we should probably talk about how to make this sort of stuff, because buying non-alcoholic beer is not cheaper by any means. It's not cheap. The Deschutes I bought today was $12.99 for the 6-pack, same price as the regular one. And, you know, cost of production is going to be a little bit higher if they're doing that
post process.
Actually, you know, we skipped over. We're gonna do that the make your own thing. We're gonna talk. You know, I skipped a page in my script here, Andrew.
You did.
I did.
Are you talking
Segment 1 we're supposed to come back with.
Yeah, segment 1. That's where we're at.
Yeah, but I skipped segment
2
got and started talking about
yeah. I see. So let's see, what were you talking about here?
Well, we were kind of
designing low.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about designing your own beers.
I think we were talking more about just NA beers in general.
Okay,
You know, health trends. You know.
So I read I found a trend that 40% of drinkers in the, you know, the 35 to 40, you know, our age bracket, 40% have aimed to drink less in 2024.
Right.
While 60% of Gen Zers look for alternatives to alcohol. So you know, we're not. What I could not find is if, you know, the per capita consumption of alcohol, you know, what kind of dip it saw, but there was, you know, there definitely going to be people who are drinking more. I think after COVID, after the pandemic, a lot of people realized just how much they were consuming.
Yep.
I heard a joke that during the pandemic, we're all going to survive this. We're either going to be a hunk, a chunk, a monk, or a drunk, as everybody bought, 2 weeks worth of alcohol 4 times during the first phase of the shutdown. Like I saw a video of a guy walking down the street just showing all the recycling containers in his cul-de-sac, and they were all full of
alcohol.
booze. Just the amount we all drank.
Right. Yeah, like back in 2008 when we had the housing crash, and then the recession.
We drank more.
We drank more. We kept drinking and drinking.
And we didn't stop.
And drinking.
And now I think that's kind of coming around full circle as, well, I got older. And so I have to be a little more health conscious.
Yep.
And so I definitely don't imbibe as frequently. And it is really cool to know that there's some quality products out there that kind of fill the need, for these kind of flavors.
Yep.
What I like about beer is not the buzz, it is
flavor.
It's the flavor.
Drinking it.
I love malt. I love hops. So kind of the big question I get at the shop is how to make it. And so how do these guys, how do they do this? And what I found was there's a couple of different formats that you can go through. Probably the most popular is just heat distillation. You ferment the beer out, you throw it back in the boiler,
Yep.
and you heat it up. Alcohol is going to vaporize at about 172 degrees, and you're just going to be driving it off through evaporation.
Right. How do we know how long it takes?
Well, that was kind of the big rub because, in my background in food service, one of the, cooking with alcohol, you can't really drive it all off through boiling. In fact, like a 30-minute boil in say, beef bourguignon with a bottle of wine in there, after 30 minutes of simmering, you've only driven off 40% of the alcohol.
Right.
So I think, they're going longer to accomplish that. And I think some of those flavors come from, reboiling all these ingredients a second time after fermentation. That, it kind of gives, changes qualities because their job didn't change. They still have to use quality malts, quality hops, quality yeast to make.
Now they're just heating it twice.
Yeah. So
and
extra production.
And post
Yeah. So extra step involved in that. I worry about, as a brewer, I worry about, oxygen exposure during that long extended, if it's 30 minutes to get, 40% of it gone and it takes longer for the rest.
Right.
You've got that thing hanging out in O2 environment. You can't cap it because you literally want evaporation. So, if you put a lid on it, it's just going to fall back in. So, I kind of worry about that. And I think the average home brewer is going to be worried about that sort of thing too. The next one I found was membrane filtration. So imagine some sort of material with lots of little holes in it that allows really small ethanol molecules to pass through it while leaving the larger ones, water being a much larger molecule than ethanol, they have to stay behind.
Well, same kind of concept as filtering your water.
Sure.
Where your micron filters out, larger
garbage
molecules and things in there. Yeah, and your water gets through. Your alcohol, then the alcohol will pass through here.
Yeah.
Now what do? They put it in a big old put it in a big old bag and
some sort of filtration. Yeah. So
pressure.
Forcing it through that membrane. These kind of systems are not available to the average, home brewer.
Right. Large scale.
You've got to throw down some coin. I cannot imagine no other equipment in the brew house is cheap.
Right.
For a production.
And now we're going to make a non-alcoholic beer and buy a new membrane system.
Yeah. And that's adding to the price. These beers are not cheaper than regular beers. They're not available in small sizes. So I don't have great information to, I didn't for the longest time have great information to share with people at the shop wanting to make an non-alcoholic beer.
There's very little information.
Right. It's kind of a industry in its infancy, still in its infancy.
Yeah.
There's another process I found, vacuum distillation. So by putting the whole batch in under a vacuum, they're taking away oxygen, so they're accounting for that. In a vacuum, that beer will heat, or the ethanol will vaporize, not at 172 degrees or 78 degrees Celsius, but at 93 degrees Fahrenheit.
That's a big difference.
Right. So less BTUs in, so less heat damage. So it's probably going to be a a qualitative impact on that process.
How would I vacuum process my home brew?
Ah, man. So
Get my Kirby out?
yeah, you've got to have you've got to be able to suck. You need a sealed environment. You got to
Yep.
suck that stuff out, and have a heat source in there. You know,
Right.
and that's probably going to have to be electrically powered because you can't have a flame in a O2 free environment.
Instapot?
So that's a sealed environment, so it has to be able to the
Gas
vapors
off.
have to be able to go somewhere. So
I think the Instapot has a little pressure valve.
yeah, at
Gas
the
off,
end of
gas is
it.
off.
But as you know, if you also open up the lid of your Instapot, it's wet from all the moisture that's condensated on the lid and it's falling back in your beer. So in a beer, I would imagine that would be also full of alcohol. So you
Yep.
haven't really
Yeah.
done it. You've just moved the alcohol briefly and then
Moved it out,
stuck it back in.
Then dripped it back in.
So again,
yes.
this is not one of those systems that, or, I couldn't find any details. I couldn't even, like nobody would talk about,
Right.
it's like, oh, we've got one and it's $10,000 or $20,000, and click here to talk to a representative.
Salesman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, not available in any small scale.
Right. And probably not very doable on a small scale. I mean, you have to
Not
have
cost
some pretty
effective.
good
I mean,
machinery to do this.
Yeah, it would. That would be like buying a boat to save on fish. It's just never going to pencil out. You literally cannot drink that much non-alcoholic beer to save enough money making your own.
Right.
If you cobbled even if you could cobble together a system that could reproduce those sort of results. Yeah, you're so quickly upside down on it
Yep.
that it would be ridiculous. Pardon me, I wet my whistle one more time. So there hasn't been a whole lot of information on this. What I did find from a website from I think Clawhammer Supply, not that I'm sending you guys to the competition, but in full disclosure, they had kind of this interesting novel approach, and it was really about engineering a low ABV beer.
Beer, yep. Yeah, because now if we're making a 0.5% beer, 1% beer,
Right.
Now we don't have to.
Can we accomplish that?
Now we don't have to do as much with removing the alcohol.
Yeah. So that brings us right up to our second segment on making your own non-alcoholic beer. So watching the video and reading the blog about it, basically these guys had done a party guile mash.
Right.
So they produced a regular beer, a regular strength beer, and I think they limited it to 5% beer.
Yeah.
And after mashing and boiling, they, instead of pitching the grains away, they added 5.5 more gallons of sparge water to the spent grains. Let that soak,
Sparge that
and
through.
then sparge that through, or just drain that through, and it picked up just enough sugar to be at about
Give it a little
0.5%,
fermentation, right?
Just enough for the yeast to do, and they would do a separate boil.
Yep, and it grabs the flavors.
You get
Grabs
some
those, grabs those,
maltiness.
yep.
You get the hop. You get a fresh
Grabs
load
some
of hops.
starches.
The yeast didn't. You don't have to worry about pitch rate on that beer because, man, one pack of yeast is 18 times too many. For that sugar volume in
Right,
there. Yeah.
right.
So we're talking. I think it was a gravity of like. I'll look it up real quick. Yeah. We'll
Gravity of what?
Yeah, we'll take it. We'll take it.
03 not. What would it be? 1005.
Low ABV IPA. Here we go.
So I made a party Kyle once. I think I talked about it. Dunkelweizen.
Yeah.
I made it was a nice strong Dunkelweizen.
So you can have a regular strength beer on
Yeah,
the end.
I had my regular strength beer, and I'm looking in my mash kettle, and I'm like, this because I'm always observing, and I'm like, okay, I filled my boil kettle, and what's coming through the mash is still like 1032. I'm like,
Right.
what?
Well, I think on a normal strength beer, you're going to sparge to like 1.013 gravity, and you don't want to go too far south of that because you get a bunch of tannic extraction.
right.
So this is going to kind of break that rule a little bit.
Well, I'm going. Well,
we're going lower for the NA version.
Well, right, for the NA version.
The gravity on that second running is going to be about 1.005.
Okay.
Not a lot of sugars.
And then how much yeast you're going to pitch? You're going to probably not even a half a pack.
Yeah, I mean, I would go dry yeast and let her go. I think I wanted it done quickly. I threw I think I just threw SO5 at it.
Yeah, just the whole pack.
Yeah, and it was done the next day.
Wow.
And I thought originally I used a 1318 pack that had swelled up in shipping. And, it was like, oh, it's only a couple days old. I'll pitch that. There should be enough viability in there. And I got back the next day and I'm like, no activity. And then I sat on it for the second day. I'm like, still nothing. I checked the bucket lid, make sure it wasn't leaking. And I didn't take the gravity. I should have taken the gravity, but I'm like, in a panic, I pitched another yeast at it.
Oh, no.
And I took the gravity the next day. It was all done, and I suspect that it had been done.
Yes.
While I blinked, it finished up.
Blasted overnight.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll do that. I mean, if there's not much sugar in there, and you're pitching one of those packs of yeast. Why yeast?
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a ton. It's 100 billion cells or something. Or a dry pack is another 100 billion.
Yeah.
I had way more yeast than I needed when I did it. So the party guile, back in the party guile, you can get for the same grain bill and a little bit extra in hops, you get regular beer and a non-alcoholic beer for
whatever.
For whatever.
Just put it on tap.
That's practically free. I even went so far. So that was a cool experiment. It was a cool thought experiment reading on that blog. And I thought about, what about extract brewing? How much extract will you need? And so I did the math on it to get to 0.5% and no more to meet the legal definition of a non-alcoholic beer. It's got to be less than 0.5%. And that came out for a 5-gallon batch. It came out to 0.54 pounds of dry malt extract.
Wow.
I had a little steeping addition in there,
a
little crystal malt, and a little
color.
A little crystal. I think in the one we're gonna drink today, crystal 150, because I wanted a big color impact.
Yeah.
I wanted it, kind of not necessarily amber, but I didn't want it blonde.
Right.
I also threw in Sakurafa too. And I think I used about 2 ounces each of those as a little steep in there. Not a ton.
Right.
But I just wanted some color to it. So let's crack that bad boy open.
Let's do it.
So this is kind of the first attempt. I do intend to do this again. I mean, hell, I still have a pack of dry malt extract to get through.
Right. And then this was not party guile. This was
not party gal. So I wanted to see what we could do as an extract for just a fucking around beer, and I think the cost came down to like 47 cents a pour.
Wow.
Which is practically nothing. We lost a little carbonation because I did not fill the growler up, because I have so much non-alcoholic beer. But we've got some color too there.
Yep.
It's kind of a darkish pale ale.
Dark kind of
Sorry. Take a picture for the records here.
a little tiny bit amber brown.
Yeah, it's kind of it's leaning into amber territory.
Yeah.
I did not use Whirlflock in it because I forgot.
Yep.
Like I always do.
Clarity is a little.
So it's a little hazy. I ended up dry hopping it. Now, you're going to notice it's exceptionally bitter. What I didn't account for, I made a rookie mistake. I did not account for the the reality that your hop utilization goes up when you don't have a lot of sugar in there.
Yeah.
So on subsequent batches, I will decrease the hopping.
Okay.
Or decrease the hops quite a bit because it's a little out of balance. It's way too bitter for what it is, but the backbone's there.
Bitter?
Yeah, a little too much.
A little bitter.
It doesn't have the malt backbone that some of these production ones
Right.
do. And maybe I'll, toy around with some more, crystal malt or something
Right.
in there to give it a little more body.
Unfermentable sugars for the body.
Yeah. Because it's a little bit, it's a little bit watery.
A little. I wonder how they got the body on the Deschutes one.
Well, they had a full grain bill to play with. Yeah. So I intend to do the party gal version.
Okay. Yours was did you do the half pound?
This is a 0.54 pounds of dry malt extract, 4 ounces of specialties. It is, I think I did a full ounce of bittering hops. Yeah, Cascade for bittering at a full ounce, and some Citra.
It's not too bad.
As flame out. It's a little too lingering for my taste. It's calmed down a little bit.
Yeah.
Days later, I drank it pretty fresh.
This would be a good one to dry hop a lot.
I threw an ounce of dry hop into it right in the keg, to try to improve it, and it did. It improved it. Okay. It's a cool first round experiment. I would do this again and
your very first NA beer.
To my first NA beer. Thank you, sir.
Cheers to that one, man. It's good.
Yeah. It is far better than my first alcoholic beer.
Yeah.
It's kind of a banana bomb.
Well, that has to do with fermentation too.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how long you say this was fermented? The day?
A day.
A night?
A day. So really, really fast. And if I'll work on clarity and doing that, get the body. I want to get a little more body to it.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to doing it again. It's good enough that I want to do it again.
Yeah. Okay. Did you use hop edition at 20?
The late edition was a 5-minute edition.
I would recommend using an edition at 20, because then it gives you some hop flavoring.
Sure.
And that'll bolster up the profile, the flavors.
And it'll help balance the bitterness too. I think if I didn't do a 60-minute edition and I just did a 20-minute edition of something tasty, like it would keep me in an IBU range that isn't out of line,
right?
And provide, because this is like 47 IBUs on paper. It drinks more like 65. And I think it needs to come down a notch.
A little bit.
Yeah,
a little bit. Now, is there anywhere that it tells you your IBU based on your recipe?
So
did you calculate this?
The IBU using the Tenseth method on Brewer's Friend, it says it's 47 IBUs as is. There's not any malt structure to it, so I think it like I said, it drinks more like a 65 IBU beer. But it was kind of a fun experiment though. I look forward to the Party Gal version. I do want to do another extract though, and kind of nail this and get it out there. Add my information to the world space.
There we go.
Yeah,
keep it up.
So let's recap real quick. For a malt extract beer to create a 0.5% ABV beer, I would say choose a lighter amber malt extract, and you can adjust your content for low alcohol. In this case, it was 0.54 pounds for 5 gallons. Is a good place to start. Boil and hop additions are gonna be kind of like a normal beer. You could do you might be able to get away with a shorter boil on this one. Just enough to get that. I like what flavor. Yeah, I liked your idea about doing just a late addition for both bittering and flavor and aroma, and that'll keep costs down too. It might shave $4 or so on hops depending on which ones you use.
Exactly.
Monitor your fermentation closely and expect it to be done quickly. I did dry hop this beer. I do recommend a cold crash and carbonate for 2.3 volumes of CO2, 10 psi on a regulator will get you there. I think why don't you go over the Party Gal, the notes we have on Party Gal. We're going to recap some of that for us.
Well, we're going to brew a stronger beer first when we Party Gal, and we're going to draw all of our wort out of our grain bed into our boil kettle. When we have our required amount in our boil kettle, we're going to take and run 5.5 more gallons through that mash in order to get another beer that's low in alcohol.
And so the stronger beer would probably be like 5%.
5%.
Yeah.
Yeah, 5%. You don't want to go too much higher than that.
Yeah. So collect the wort,
Yep. Collect the wort.
boil it up.
Yep.
Same hop kind of schedule we talked about with the extract.
Yep.
Body enhancers. That was one of the things I thought about was, maltodextrin, adding to this one to give it a little oomph. But I'm going to try to get it through specialties.
Yeah.
But if it's too thin, you could add some maltodextrin right in the keg.
Yeah.
It's going to add some body, a little bit of sweetness.
Does that come in powder?
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've added it right into the keg.
Okay.
It'll dissolve pretty quickly.
Right into the beer.
Yeah. Just
right.
get her done. So I'm gonna post this recipe as it is. I'm gonna put that link in the show notes for the extract recipe. And I thought it might be fun today to design something with you live on air today.
Ooh.
I thought about an amber.
Yeah.
So what would you do what do you think about what would you do for an amber?
For an amber, we go Crystal 80. Let's see, how much are we going to do with are we going to do dry malt extract?
We could do a party gal version.
Party
So we can do
gal.
an all grain.
Do an all grain
so
amber.
we'll just kind of like a 5% amber.
Yep.
Go.
5% amber. We're going to have 5 gallons. We're going to have 10 pounds of two-row.
10 pounds of Turo? That might be a little bit higher than 5%.
Yeah, that's
So
probably
maybe-
6.5.
Yeah, I might do 8, maybe somewhere
That's
there.
fine. 8.
How much crystal malt are you going to go for? The crystal 80.
Probably 6 ounces. Maybe 6 ounces.
6 ounces? Yeah.
That sounds good.
Anything darker to
Ooh.
nudge the color?
I like chocolate malt.
I don't know. It's nice.
Chocolate malt would be good. Now, I know I can get up to 400 chocolate. Is there a lighter?
There's
What's the lightest I can get on my chocolates?
So the Simpsons makes a pale chocolate, and I think it's up to like 280, 300 kind of level.
That'd be better.
Pale chocolate.
Because I do like my chocolate, and they come up to 400 and some, 420.
There's a darker chocolate too.
Yeah.
There's Simpsons makes a dark chocolate malt. It is like 480, but it has a way better chocolate profile. Like if you want, it'll change your life in porters and stouts. When you get around to the ox, we're going to talk about using that one again. British chocolate, but it's pretty dark, way darker.
Right.
How much you thinking on the pale chocolate?
On the pale chocolate, probably half. I can't go half a pound.
You just want a little color, maybe.
Yeah,
maybe
4 ounces.
4 ounces. That's
Yeah.
gonna be that'll nudge it into. That'll nudge it maybe
4 to 6.
I don't think maybe more. If I
Half
want
pound?
red, in one of my red beers, the Red Tide, it is like a pound of Crystal 80, and it's 2 ounces of roasted malt, which is really darker. Going with a lighter one, 4 ounces.
4 ounces.
Yeah, we'll do that. What would you do for hops?
Ooh, hops. Let's go with. I wonder if we should go with the Cascade.
So
I always
the
like
blue
Cascade.
jeans of hops, man.
I always like Cascade. So let's go. It's going to be probably an ounce. I don't think we need to go more than an ounce on bittering.
Right. That should give us like 35 IBUs,
Yep.
an ounce and 5 gallons.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then for a flavoring, golly,
And I'm putting you on the spot.
I know. We can go like a nugget maybe.
Ooh.
Nugget for the flavor.
Nugget's pretty high alpha. You do that really late, right?
Yeah. But that's fine.
Like flame
Goes-
out.
20.
20 minutes?
Yeah.
Put you in the
Good.
Put you in the 40, 45, 45 range.
Yeah.
All right. What yeast would you go for?
Oh, I don't think it's going to matter much. 04 probably.
So for
That's the blue, right?
yeah,
Yeah. That'll be a little more.
It's a little English
sweet, a little
character, yeah.
Yeah, a little fruity. It'll just build character in that non-alcoholic beer.
So for then the party gal version, or the low ABV, we got that. Our grain bill is set. We got 8 pounds of 2-row, 6 ounces of Crystal Lady,
when we
4 ounces of chocolate.
We boil our party gal.
Would you do anything different for the hopping?
Oh, wait a minute. For my normal beer?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, this is a party gal.
It doesn't even matter what we're doing for a normal beer, right?
Well, we got to do something. We want to drink it too.
All right, so now we're going at least 2 ounces on the Cascade for the regular beer.
Okay, so 2 ounces of the gas. So the Cascade and Nugget was the low ABV version.
Yes. I mean, we could use Nugget on the high one, and just use more. We could use more ounces on the regular beer.
So 2 Cascade at 60.
That would be interesting because then we'll kind of do the same beer.
2 different versions.
Right,
of it. Would be kind of cool.
And a beer.
And then just do the same yeast then.
Yes.
like take a pinch out of it.
Exactly.
You only need a little bit. So tell you what, I'm going to type this up. I'm going to put this up into Beersmith or Brewer's Friend, and we'll put this one in the show notes too. You guys can see what we're thinking. I got a bonus segment today. We need to make an empty glass real quick.
Uh-oh.
Because I have something else to drink.
Which one am I going to do?
Go and pour that real quick. So we are beer centric, obviously, but when I was talking about not drinking for a year, one of the things I could not get enough of was seltzers. I would go broke. I mean, a 12-pack every other day did not feel obscene.
Alcoholic seltzer?
Non-alcoholic seltzer, just
Non-alcoholic
carbonated H2O with a little bit of flavoring in it.
I love that kind of seltzer.
And what I found when I didn't drink was, I still wanted the bubbles, the carbonation. I don't drink sodas because of the sugar. I don't like diet because artificial sugar sucks even worse than regular sugar.
Yeah.
So I would go crazy buying bubbly or LaCroix or however the hell you say it. LaCroix. The crap I used to call it. And it was all about the bubbles. So I really, really needed the bubbles. A couple months ago, we put this one together. We just put filtered water in a keg.
Yep.
We slapped the gas to it.
Yep.
And waited about 5 to 7 days.
You put it up at 12?
I think we just did 10 PSI because I didn't. PSI, okay. Yeah, we'll talk about why here in a moment.
That's fine.
But we added a scant teaspoon of the Amaretti Blood Orange in this batch. The Amaretti, if you've not played with these, it is a super concentrate of fruit, and they're not thin and watery like some of the natural flavoring versions that kind of can taste medicinal. This one's thick like a super concentrated puree.
Okay.
Really fantastic.
Put that in your keg?
Put it right in the keg.
Right in the keg.
I think Amaretti's got a pretty good product line, and I think if you were to ask a lot of breweries that have fruit additions in their beers, you'll be surprised how many of them are using Amaretti.
Okay.
Because it's a small packaging. 1 8-ounce bottle is enough for damn near 10 gallons of beer.
Okay.
It packs a punch. The passion fruit one makes a spoon taste really good. So this one only has like a teaspoon of the flavoring in it.
Yeah, blood orange.
It's got the blood orange flavoring. Enjoy.
I think I still taste your beer.
But I think this tastes better.
Yeah.
And that was super easy.
Easy. Just goes right in your keg. Same keg, same equipment.
Just clean them up.
Yep. Just put bottled water in the keg and
that's it. So there's a couple tips and tricks here for you. Filter your water. If your water doesn't taste good, find something that does. Fill your keg with that. But filtering is going to remove those chlorines and chloramines we talked about last 2 weeks ago in the water report or water talk with Bob. So you want to get that out of there. Yep. You can actually use some water salts in there. If you think about like Perrier, kind of those classic
Yeah, European water.
European water,
Yeah.
they've got a higher mineral content. So
Right.
you can kind of play with those
You
things.
can doctor it up.
You're looking for 3 to 5 volumes of CO2, which would get you, starting about like 17 psi at 38 degrees will get you there.
Yeah.
And this is going to present a little problem on surface. You don't want to be serving at 17 psi.
Oh, no.
Unless you have 16 feet of line.
Right.
Which, if you were going to be doing seltzers full time in your kegerator, you might build a line that does that, so you can have a quality pour. But most of us, might not be every day, and I don't want to screw up the rest of my beers. So 17 psi for a couple days, and then change it to 10 psi for serving pressure. Vent the keg, do the whole thing. It will go flat over time, right? It has to reach equilibrium. So if it's carbonated at 17 psi for,
It depends on the headspace.
but as you drink it, it's
As you
going
drink it,
it's going to equalize.
Yep.
So you may have to
goes away.
redo that. But if you drink a lot, like I definitely did, it's not going to last.
I used to have
very long.
one on one of my taps all the time.
A soda or a
Yep.
seltzer line.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. One of the taps always had seltzer.
I'm going to do it at the shop. I can drink this all day long.
I never flavored mine.
Yeah.
So it's just my spring water, carbonated spring water. It's
Which
great.
I like. I like
love
club
it.
soda and a little lime in there, and
I
that's
just go out there and
drink that stuff up.
boom. It's soda machine or soda streamish,
So I have a new recipe we can share with the crowd today. It's a cranberry lime seltzer. A refreshing little holiday drink done in like 3 to 5 days. So you need 5 gallons of filtered water, and start with a half a teaspoon of a cranberry simple syrup. And simple syrup's really easy, folks. That's 1 cup of water cooked with 1 cup of sugar and 2 cups of whole cranberries. Cook that whole thing down and strain out the solids, and that syrup will last in the refrigerator this side of forever.
Wow.
It's never simple syrups last forever. And I would put the zest of 1 lime right in the keg. Now, when I'm doing keg additions for lime, I use the vegetable peeler instead of like a microplane zester, because I don't want a bunch of little thready shit getting clogged up in my dip tubes and causing problems. So with a vegetable peeler on a lime, I can get nice wide strips. But before I add them, I'm going to flip them over and I'm going to scrape the pith off with the back of with a spoon. Just get all that white stuff out there. It does not taste very good. Once I've done that,
do not want the white stuff.
don't want the white stuff.
Okay.
Just the good green stuff. And you can sanitize it in vodka, drink the vodka, add the rest in the beer right into your beer and let it hang out. One will get you a nice cranberry flavor. You can add more syrup to taste if you think that's a little too light.
Right.
You can add more. Alternatively, you could just do plain water and make up the simple syrup and leave that in the refrigerator and add some to your liking every time you pour it, just like a bartender, kind of sneaky bartender trick, is to add stuff, add it to taste. Now, if I was going to do that, I would put my lime zest, the real fine stuff, in the boil with the cranberries, and I'd probably add some juice in there too, because I'm right there. Strain those solids out, and just add that to the glass. Maybe with a squeeze bottle, I'd go around the glass with that nice cranberry simple syrup. Seltzer goes in, you get this kind of cascading syrup effect. It's going to look really cool, and it's going to taste really good too. Whoops. Carbonating, talked about that. It's 3 to 5 days to get there. You can do it faster if you're thirsty and you got crowd coming over. 50 psi overnight.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, your system will hold it. That a keg is rated for like 130 psi. Your hoses are 100 plus. You're gonna be fine.
50.
Yeah, there is a potential to over carbonate at 50 psi though, but should be good to go. So that's a seltzer. Make one up, and for all you if you got a bunch of White Claw drinkers and they're not drinking alcohol, flavored seltzer that you made is gonna hit the spot. Of course, you could just add vodka to it later on, and now you've got 5 gallons of your own White Claw for
There you go.
50 cents a piece.
I would
instead
add Everclear.
you want to, yeah, why not?
Why not? Jungle juice it.
So I think that is going to wrap up the non-alcoholic beverage show here on the Beer Craft. I hope you guys enjoyed it. do try some of these things out. I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised if you're at all worried about flavor. Go find one of these beers. I think you're going to be surprised, and definitely try making some of yourself.
Yep, give it a couple shots.
Home brewers out there, you can do it too. Before we wrap for today, I kind of want to do a live show, like do like a Facebook Live here in the studio. Everybody can kind of chime in and comment, or maybe we'll figure out like a Google group thing. Haven't really figured out the details yet, but I do want to hear from you guys out there on if you have burning questions that you want answered. Let me know now. You can find me on socials, northwestbrewersupply.com or brew@nwbrewers.com. On my Facebook page, there's even a form to fill out. You can ask your questions, and we'll put them on air. We'll talk about those here in the weeks ahead. Love to hear from you guys. Let's get you guys in on the conversation and have you guys in the studio, at least remotely, as we go.
Right.
But that'll be fun.
It'll be great.
Anything from you before we wrap, Andrew?
I'm all good. I'm pretty full from a full session of NA beers and seltzers.
Yeah, I am full too. Well, thank you all for joining us on
thank you.
The Beer Craft. We're
Always
gonna be back
appreciate
for another awesome episode next Wednesday.
And we didn't get to Ryan Heiskeboat today, but we will next episode.
We didn't make it eat Ryan Heiskeboat jokes. Yeah. Well, there it is. There's the Ryan Heiskeboat joke for the day. We're 11 for 11 on making fun of Ryan Heiskeboat.
All right.
Well, thank you all for joining us.
Thank you.
We'll see you next week.
See you next week on The Beer Craft.